Yes. We will, all of these podcasts that we do, Kulaport and then this one and then Tusi Soyad and all the guys, like in years later, this is going to be a study for interior design students about how many different ways can you rearrange one very small space in an attempt to be different to each other.
It's like, can't they just find one that works? Like, don't they remember what they did last time? No. Every time you start with like 500 different ways how to block your face with the boom.
We've already spent half an hour trying to get this, just so we could have something different. And really, this is the same thing you and Carl kind of did. And I'm like, I want that too.
Yeah. I mean, you have a good eye, I guess.
Yeah, we could have the Tusi Soyad sign kind of in the background but turned around or something crossed out. No.
Bit of a feng shui.
Let's do it. Here on the next episode of Comedy Guy, I've got my friend Ardo Asperk just in here for a chat, just catching up, seeing what's going on, doing a regular podcast. Hey. Welcome. How you doing, man?
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
Thanks, man. It's fun. Yeah, I just wanted to like have more. You know what? I did so many of those live streams with Silla, and they were good. And you did those as well, right?
Yeah.
But there's definitely a different intensity to them. Like to this, or did you feel that? I felt like when Silla and I were doing them, I had to keep a pace going and an energy going
because it was live. Or
yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it definitely changes the dynamic, I think, because if you wanna just have a talk of like, you know, have a conversation, then if you add the live element, then you gotta sort of you gotta punch it up or something like that. I guess it changes the dynamic definitely.
Yeah, I felt that. So Silla's going to come back in again next week, and we're going to do one more. But I specifically just pre-recorded. She was like, "You want to do it live?" And I was like, "I got a new idea. Let's."
Yeah, because then you gotta like, I guess you have that in your head. Like, I gotta entertain.
Yeah, here's a news story. Here's another dating story. Here's a thing. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
Instead of just having a regular conversation, you're like, "What is this dumbass in the comment thing?" So like,
yeah. Oh my God, I definitely, you know, if you want a education about the larger difficulties for women in entertainment, do a live stream with a woman and you'll get all kinds of people, and they're certainly not afraid of giving their different opinionated views online. And like,
oh yeah, but why would they be afraid? It's a very valuable opinion that
sure,
like CS Boy 78 has or something like that. Of course they want to hear it.
It's cool. Yeah, so it's, you know, because it's also something, because we're also not quite sure what to do. Like, do we keep doing live streams down the Comedy Estonia channel? We've sometimes put some clips up, kind of experimented with podcast clips, but I think none of us seem to do it just because the sheer amount of work that is involved to then edit the podcast, do it, and then clip it, and then put it up. Like, you know, it's a lot of work, right? Yeah. And the thing that Henrik had was like, well, he says, I've been reading and it seems like it's not good when you've got like stand-up comedy clips and then podcast clips and then live streams. Like, YouTube doesn't like it. I'm like, whoa, well, YouTube doesn't like it. What do you mean? Fuck it. What do I give a shit what YouTube likes? You know, who? Yeah. And this led me down this rabbit hole of thinking, because then it's like Henrik suggested, why don't we have a Comedy Estonia podcast clips channel, which I think is a great idea. But again, it's manpower for us all to clip up. And if we did, we could all get one clip per episode, and that means one every day or every 2 days or something. And it'd be pretty reasonable. But it's that exponential extra effort that it's taking to do every episode. You got to do one a week, so it can't be this huge push. We don't have producers. We don't have someone pulling it up. And Henrik's suggestion, I think, is correct. You know, a separate channel would be good. And I think I initially resisted because I was like, what? We just spent years building up this channel, and now you're telling me I gotta build another one? What? And it sent me down this rabbit hole of thinking that the way that we think about algorithms, because I think what Henrik said was correct, but that's never been said. Like, there's no one's ever said,
It was the first in the world, like
it's never been written down as rules. Like, the algorithms rule our life, but and particularly, and I don't just mean like, oh, if you're a consumer, but if you're a creator, we're all like, upload on Monday, make sure that you do them once a week because regular is good. You have no empirical proof that once a week you have what, I don't know what the friggin' scientific term is, but you've got the evidence to know that when you do once a week, you get more views and shit like that. But there's no like, oh, YouTube has said do once a week and this is how we've coded the algorithm.
Yeah, that's the thing, like that, whatever like platform it is, right? Like I don't think any like legit evidence or stuff has leaked, you know, from the offices that this is our algorithm, this is what we base it on. It's all just guessing, right?
Yeah, we're just guessing. So Henrik's guess is correct, I think. But it's like, and so why do we, let's say that's a new effort, you know, got to build a new channel from scratch. And I don't even know it's new effort. I mean, you uploaded to one channel, two channels, who gives a fuck? But somehow it feels like more effort. And why is it effort? Because YouTube have arbitrarily decided that we're supposed to make a second channel for this. Like, it's not a force of nature. I was fascinated to read about the people in ancient Rome. And I've talked about this in a bunch of, because it's all I do is I read books about Rome right now, right? They were crazy superstitious. We're talking like the Roman Republic, the years before Christ, like just before like 400 BC, 400 AC, like afterwards or whatever it's called. These Roman people in the great city of Rome were crazy superstitious. If a snake crossed your path, you had to go talk to the shaman. What did it mean? Go talk to the oracle at Delphi to tell you what the thunderstorm over your newborn child meant. Crazy superstitious. And it occurred to me that we are crazy superstitious about algorithms. We act the same way. Like, oh, I hope I can't put up this content. Hope the algorithm doesn't like it.
Yeah, it is sort of weird. Yeah, like it's the modern whatever you call it, religion.
The gods, it's the gods that we pray to.
Yeah,
and we don't quite know what they want.
Yeah.
We just think this is what they want.
It's abstract, you know. Like nobody has said this is how it behaves every single time. This is the logic. So it's kind of interesting because it's supposed to, like, I guess, intuitively like know what people like. But people in themselves are not always logical, and you know, difficult to unpredictable, I guess.
And it has its own set of motivations.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know. Just like the gods. Are the gods angry with us today?
Yeah.
Are they happy with us today? Are we been blessed with a good position on the front page?
Yeah. So,
And even literally down to the extent that, like, you know, the Romans would have something going on. They go, time for a feast, you know, time for a great feast to celebrate the great victory we've just had occupying some other far off fucking Asian land. And so they would have a great feast. And what do? They make a sacrifice to the gods before the meal. What do? Take a fucking picture of your Parmesan chicken and chips. We also make a sacrifice to the gods before our meal. They're the gods.
Like Instagram, bless this meal.
Yes, yeah. You're all listening. You've all taken a picture of your food and uploaded it to Instagram at one stage.
Yeah, to the cloud.
To the cloud. What
Sent
is the
this
cloud thing?
to the heavens.
Yeah.
In hopes that it will be blessed with a lot of star or like heart-shaped likes.
Yeah, the likes. Oh, so the God gives us the likes. Because, I mean, people give likes, but really the God gives the likes, you know, because they can show it to more people. Or they could just make shit up. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of interesting. Like, why do you need like an algorithm? Because it used to be Instagram that, you know, it's just chronological, right? You follow these people, obviously you want to see what they're posting, but now it's like you might not see, or that you have to, I don't know, scroll real far to see it, or something like that. That it might not pop in your feed, which is like, what is the logical basis for that? I've already followed this whatever person or entity. I want to see their face. Why aren't you showing it to me?
Well, I have the answer, Ardo Asperk. I already know.
Oh,
I've already
okay,
looked.
nice.
I've already gone deep down this rabbit hole. It all changes when Facebook goes public. They're preparing for their IPO. They got to get those numbers up. So they're like, how can we get the numbers up? First thing they do is they call up the Las Vegas casinos. Yo, give us that playbook you've been using for the last 100 fucking years about how to hook people.
Yeah.
Give them a little bing, bing, bing notification. Keep them going. Give us that rule book. We need to use that. So first they start rewriting it using these deep psychological cues.
Yeah.
And then this is about the time they move from you just scrolling and seeing Auntie fucking Laura's whatever, this has happened to her, here's her birthday, about the time when we used to put relationship status into Facebook. No one's done that for fucking years. And that's when it switched from just knowing stuff about your friends to an endless scrolling. Now it's endless scrolling of whatever, right? Yeah. Algorithm. That's when it happened because they needed to get eyeballs up. They needed to get views up so they could get the biggest IPO, the biggest whatever fucking online stock market when they go public, right? That's when it changed,
so it's
at least Facebook.
Advertising.
Yeah. Valuating the company larger. So we've got so many more views because it's about eyeballs and eyeball minutes or something like that. Number of users, getting you to scroll longer.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to be there.
They don't want you to reach the end.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. There's no end.
Yeah.
Who reaches the end? That's like...
I remember back when you used to. So, yeah, that's it. Oh, shit.
No, my friends are boring. Update your relationship status already. Come on.
Have something happen. God.
So, and there's different levels of social media and that so Facebook is like a really extreme example. It's just endless scrolling. Twitter, possibly, I know I'm mostly following those people or something like that. And kind of the advice I have for artists is that if you're trying to use social media to promote your stuff, like we have to use the internet. You have to use some version of social media. Can't avoid it as much as you might hate it like I do. Try to find the social media, like you said, that is more straight up and down, no algorithm involved. And I think a good example of that today is Instagram stories.
Okay.
Not the regular, that's still, regular Instagram a bit, but Instagram stories, they're very direct. Yeah. You know, when we post a whole bunch in Comedy Estonia, they're there, you see them, blah, blah, blah. Look for the social medias that have the least amount of algorithm fucking with it as possible. YouTube, horrible. Like such algorithm fucking with it. You know, you've got the Cooler Port videos up. Yeah. If they get shown, has the gods shined on us today?
Yeah, it's sort of a... I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's about, I guess, persistence. With YouTube. No, but fuck it.
No, it is. Yeah,
I don't really know.
It is correct. I mean, that is part of it. Yeah, you've just got to keep going every day.
Yeah, I get the Instagram stories, like, cause it's like you can basically, like, okay, if you don't like quite post like 30 stories a day, but you can do quite a lot of them. Yeah, and it's just you click through, so it's kind of an easy thing. It's a chill thing. It's not like, because if you would, I guess, post 5 pictures a day, people would be like, well, what's this? You know, it's kind of weird.
Maybe also with Instagram, it's harder to incentivize anger because that's what Facebook did real well. Everyone's Twitter, pretty damn good job of it as well, making people angry. Opinions. Yeah, which is code word for people getting angry at each other. Yeah.
But Instagram's like a face. You at the beach, like, you know, what are you gonna?
That's it. Yeah. There's no opinion on it. I like it. I do a little like. There's no really negative. I have to write something in the comments if I really want to be toxic or something like that.
Yeah. I think Instagram is good for artists. Like, I think it matters a bit more than, let's say, Twitter or stuff like that. Because in Twitter, like, if you're a comedian, you post jokes, right? And some of them get a lot of likes. But at the same time, you post like something, a promo for a show, you know, your last tweet got 800 likes and this gets 12. Yeah. You know? So it's more about the joke itself, because it could come from anywhere. People don't really care that much. It's more about the joke and that gets retweeted. But if people follow you on Instagram, then they've made the decision, I want to see this guy's face, you know?
Is that, I mean, because that's definitely something that's happened to you. I mean, you're a great joke writer. You write some great tweets. You know, at least once a week, one of your tweets is blowing up, I reckon. Something like this anyway. And then, you're like, hey, come to my show. And it's like, -1 retweets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a bit disheartening? Or like,
I lose followers. No, but because I see it with like, I mean, like Genka, you know, who has like, I don't know how many tens of thousands followers on Twitter. And there too, if he posts like, yeah, we're this Friday, we're at Cheers Viljandi, you know, it's 20 likes or something like that. Maybe not even that. So it's just kind of like, yeah, people don't really give a shit. I mean, not in a bad way, but they might not like, oh, I'm going to like this message. They might see it.
At least see it. I mean, it does make some logical sense. And it's also why, of all the possible things on YouTube, we're blessed. We're hashtag blessed because stand-up is what we do is viral. You know, you want to see a stand-up video, thankfully.
Yeah.
More than a DJ. You know, you don't really, how do you fucking put a DJ's video? Kind of, but, you know, it's hard to enjoy. It's not quite, you know, so we're kind of lucky in that regard.
Yeah, stand-up is very, like, I guess, like, easily digestible. So, you know, our whole thing is to get the audience's attention quickly, get the laugh quickly. So the whole process and the whole wording is basically made to just keep the attention and reward you with punchlines, dopamine. So yeah, I get it. Like,
we're the original dopamine sellers. Stand up, we're it. Oh, here we are. Fucking Facebook's terrible. Oh, the social media's evil. No, we were doing it first, bitches. Okay.
Yeah, we were doing it live. Right, face to face. So yeah, I get the point of like a podcast and a stand-up clip quite different. So yeah, I mean, I guess I get the point of maybe doing the different channel for those.
I do too. I can see that something will have to happen like that. We'll get there. We got a lot of things happening right now. But how have you been recently? What's going on? What have you been doing recently?
Well, like we just finished the summer tour, so I kind of feel hungover from that still, and like it's been nice. The shows have been really good, which it's weird coming from we came from having no shows to now having a lot, and the future's uncertain. But I'm just trying to enjoy it, try to have fun with the sets, because like I was when the fucking crisis and the whole thing came, like I thought it was going to be much worse, and based on what was happening in other parts of the world, I thought
it has been much worse there.
Yeah, and so I thought it was going to get pretty ugly here, and I was not obsessed, but I was looking at the news all the day. I thought like, yeah, we're gonna be at the point in Estonia where the hospitals are full, we're at the breaking point, and like people took precautions, but it wasn't like anything similar to what was happening in China or Italy or France, where I mean you get to go out at a specific time of the day, and if you're late 10 minutes, you get a fine. Here, nobody gives a fuck. Right?
Which I just understood is still happening in Australia. I didn't understand this. Like even Ro Campbell made a post this morning, like he can go within 5 kilometers of his home, and he's lucky that he knows 3 mates within 5 kilometers. Like,
yeah.
What fucking police state is this?
So we're like living in this bubble, kind of.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I thought it was gonna be like at the peak. I went to the store with a mask and all that, and at the peak, less than half, maybe a third, were wearing masks. But like, so most people didn't give that much of a shit. But it somehow still turned out all right. So like now I haven't really been following any of that stuff, and I've just try to have fun,
It's much healthier to not follow all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I know that we're not in the clear yet. Who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, just sort of given up on all of that.
Just enjoying the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Think of some. Yeah, enjoy the fact that we can do stand up. Enjoy our freedoms. Like I think a lot of people, like even when we had the restrictions, they weren't nearly as bad as they were in a lot of other places. So we're not in a position really to whine. Just appreciate that we have it pretty good.
Yeah, I think we were talking before that it's like not like any problems, but like in Comedy Estonia, I mean, like running any group and any business and anything, there are day-to-day issues and stuff you got to sort out and just get on top with and communicate and work out between each other. It's normal, all the normal stuff. But yeah, it's almost like we've forgotten, oh wait, these are complete first world comedy problems. No one else can perform, and here we're working out some specific, are we going to have 15 or 16 on the lineup? Oh, we must have a committee meeting to work it. Yeah, some shit like that. We're like, wait, we're doing stand-up. Oh, my God.
Yeah, doing stand-up to real people.
Yes.
People that are not in cars.
Yeah. Oh.
And we get laughs instead of honks.
Honks.
So, I mean,
I've heard mixed reports on that. Like people can, I mean, you could just be obnoxious and be like, bam, bam, bam. Or people have just worked out, do it at the end of the show or something like that.
Think about that, yeah. If you heckle like that, what
yeah.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna do some like car honk crowd work or whatever.
Yeah, do you come with a fancy horn, like a do 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 do, like a big, like Dukes of Hazzard horn or something like that?
You just fuck it up. Oh man, all these possibilities.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't get to that. Oh. Just the sort of amount of work that it was going to be if you sort of put together in your head, okay, what do we got to do a drive-in show?
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to get the sound? I'm not sure. Do we just have big fucking speakers? Is there some sort of Bluetooth solution to people's cars? Oh, my God. We got to get a stage. I've seen some of the bigger ones that have screens.
Yeah.
Even just a stage. I mean, even it was just like some raised area and a couple of speakers. I was still just like, oh, I don't love it. I don't love it.
Laulu Väljak.
Yeah, great.
You know, they did the movie showings, but like there's no way that it's gonna be good. You know, there's no way that like if I was watching this from a car, there's no way I would enjoy it unless maybe I've been deprived of this so long.
Yeah, because this is the first world comedy problems we have. We were like 2 months and we could see the end and we were like, all right, fuck it, we don't have to do the drive-in. But you're in the UK, it's now 4 months going on 5 months. You're getting desperate. 5 months without, I think maybe there's some gigs happening in the UK. I think Boris was supposed to say it was supposed to be August 1. And then the day before, Boris said, it's not happening. And I think even I read something was supposed to happen a day or two ago. I don't know if those gigs happened yet. So you got 4.5, 5 months, some desperation.
Yeah.
It's going to kick in.
And I imagine you're kind of alone because like here we have this whole company and structure and platform that, you've built up. And like, I mean, I don't know because I haven't really lived that life of being abroad in some other scene, but I imagine it's more of a fend for yourself type of thing.
Until you get to a certain level. Once you get to a certain level, then you can get management, but I mean, you got to do quite a lot till you get like your management or something like that. Huh. Yeah, man, it's good. It's good. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. You're writing. Did I understand? I don't think I'm dropping the bomb too much here, but as I understand, you're sort of thinking about doing a preview for your, another hour. Like you're feeling like there's a bunch of material that could get there.
It's more of a loosely organized thing. Like, because I think I might have the material time wise, so I just gotta run through it, see how it clicks together. Is there like an hour type thing, or exactly? I'm gonna see like what I'm gonna do with it. Do I have a tight half hour? Or can I put it together in an hour that's semi-cohesive? So just, because we have time until the autumn tour. So just to do something to stay active and know how, to plan for the future. So perhaps do one and then see how it goes, work on it, do another one in a few months or something like that, just to keep busy.
Yeah, that was the feeling. Like, let's just do one. Like one's pretty easy right now because the difficulty that we have, I know we were talking about this before as well, that we're all hot right now. We're smoking. We just had summer tour, so many shows, but autumn is very uncertain and we want to do it. And I'm like, let's all do it. But we're already starting to get our bum kicked a little bit with, Sanders' show next week, or by the time this comes out, it'll be on the day. Like, people don't want to go to they'll happily cram like sardines into the cafe, but they don't want to go to the theater. And I get it. I get there's psychology there, but that's going to be an interesting thing for us to incorporate. But going back to the hour though, like you said, is there a tight half an hour? Can you sort of, or is there more of a flow of an hour? Does it click together? What are you looking for with a flow and this clicking together? What does that mean to you?
Well, like, I think the first hour that I did was just a loose, like, collection of jokes, you know, short jokes, kind of just jokes for the sake of jokes. And I think it's a fun little thing where you see a classical joke writing structure of setup, punchline, the reversal of expectations, whatever. But like the last one I did was I just at some point realized like I have quite many stories about like how about growing up or what influenced me to do comedy, or what was my favorite type of comedy growing up. So I thought, yeah, these kind of click together. So maybe there's maybe there's an hour there. So I'm looking at something that kind of feels that it has a little bit of logic. Like it's just like not totally random from one thing to the next, like total like 0 to 100. But I'm also not like looking to make a complete like, I don't know, a fringe show of where you put the bow on at the end, like it all ties together.
Right, a full story, which is very, I guess for people don't kind of know the UK comedy style, and particularly in Edinburgh Fringes, you do your hour show and it's typically got strong common themes, if not a narrative through the whole thing, and it gets, as you said, pulled together at the end.
So it's just like loose. What I'm looking for is just more like loosely tied together, like so much that it doesn't seem like a huge leap to go from one bit to the other. So it doesn't like seem forced or something like, oh, how did we end up here? But nothing too fancy like a theatrical play or something like really thought out. Because the last hour I thought I would maybe write some stuff in the middle there about, you know, I'm gonna try to write some about some thing in my childhood, maybe tie it together a bit more. But in the end, that bit didn't really work. So I mean, it was kind of hit and miss, so I just cut it out.
And that bit didn't work, is it didn't kind of fit, or you just couldn't get the joke on that topic just right?
Yeah, I think that I couldn't get it just right. Or it worked sometimes, didn't work the other times. I mean, sometimes the thing is that you do a bit for the first few times, and then you're excited about it, you're enthusiastic, and you think, oh, it worked, so I have this 5 minutes, but then it just keeps getting less and less and less, boiling it down to like, okay, 2 or 3 strong jokes that work all the time. But I found that this one bit was just like, it wasn't getting such a strong reaction, and it was kind of, without it, it flowed better actually. So it was kind of a forced detour. So I never write in a way that's like, I don't think, okay, I want to write about this, so now I'm going to write about it. It's more like it, you know, these ideas come to me, and that way it's more natural. So yeah, I haven't been able yet to like do a concept hour or a concept set, I guess.
So okay, on that one, I mean, when you're writing and you said the sort of the ideas come to you, because in comedy there's jokes and there's premises.
Yeah.
And you can have a premise, an idea, a setup that, you know, a situation that you might think is amusing. And then you might say, you know, I'm going to put that in my notepad and write that down as an idea. And then I'm going to revisit that idea later and try to mine out where the jokes are and dig out of that. Or sometimes, you know, the joke just pops into your head out of nowhere. I'm looking at the sky and then it's like da 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 da. And you're like, this is a great joke. And then, okay, I'm going to then write another joke on that topic, or I've got a tag, or where does the next place that it goes? So when you said, you know, you're just writing on things, how is that in that framework? How are those ideas coming to you?
Well, those short jokes just like popping in your head, that doesn't happen that much anymore, or that was sort of what I used to try before, you know, go more that route, and I did more of that stuff. But now It doesn't really happen that much anymore. So I guess I get sort of an idea of something that I might want to talk about, and I try to just think it over or try to talk about it to myself in my head. But it's not like, I take a random stuff. I want to talk about that. So now I'm going to generate. It's more like the idea comes to me.
There's some feeling that this
it's
could
interesting
be
to me at that point.
That's very interesting actually, because now that we kind of lay it out, I think that's a little bit more how the bits that I have been doing recently have come out like that. And it's a different satisfaction that comes out from that. Because for sure, like you got to write a joke, something's funny, there's a news article, Prime Minister is stupid or something, whatever, today. And then maybe you put it to Twitter because, we're comedians who can't hold it in. So we've got to put it there right now. And then you write some more about that and you're like, this other politician's stupid and here's a tag about that. And then the bit forms like that.
It's great when it happens.
When it happens, these jokes are coming out. But I would also say recently the premises, and I guess when I say premises, like idea, this idea that this could be interesting, there's something in this. I'm going to try to, if I just keep trying to write some jokes or trying to think through this thing, so eventually something pops out and the next bit pops out and the next bit pops out.
If it like interests you, then, it's going to be, I guess, interesting to the people, you know what I'm saying? Because I guess just the way you deliver it, you're just more into it. Because I don't really, I've thought about this. Maybe it would be nice if I could just do jokes about something like, what was that guy? Michael McIntyre, British guy. I think he's the most successful comedian in Britain.
Very successful, at least,
probably makes the most or something like that. And just do simple stuff about going to the buffet or swimming in the pool, right? As he does, and because that's everybody can relate to that, right? But if you just I could sit and think about what could I do with going swimming in the pool? What could I do about that? But I just don't care that much about it, so I would be bored myself trying to say it.
Yeah, sure. If you're not interested in that, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's developed his own little satisfaction centers in his brain from that, and he knows if he just focuses on the pool, and then something comes out that's really wow. I like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's him. That's his style. So it's so natural to him, and he does it really well. I mean, I know he gets a lot of shit from other comedians, but come on, they're stand-up foremost is entertainment, right? So anything, if there's some deep meaning behind it, that's a plus. But first of all, it's to make you laugh.
It is, and that idea of entertainment, because we have a strong Comedy Estonia, a strong vibe of okay, we're not going to be hacks. We're trying to do some quality stuff, trying to be proper comedians, and that's good. All these are good, very strong attitudes that have helped us.
Yeah.
I'm like anything that can go too far, or just not go too far, but be misinterpreted. That the jokes always have to be clever, and they always have to be this intricate thing, and they always have to be, no, you can't joke about sex or poo or something like that. No, it absolutely no. And I made that because for ages, I was just writing, all the jokes that would come to my brain were jokes about racism. And you're a foreigner, these issues are on your mind and all this sort of stuff. So that's what I was writing about. And, the shit wasn't landing. And particularly after we came back after Corona, it was okay, this is a new world out there right now with the different movements that are happening there. People are looking at things in different ways. Even the English show at Kapika, for a while we were holy shit, is this show getting racist? But the crowds were digging it. It was bananas. We were saying stuff and pushing boundaries, let's say. We were pushing boundaries. And then after the lockdown, people were we don't know. This is not the move. And that's fine. Cool. Stand-up is a reflection of the world, right? So my point is that I went to myself, I keep trying to write on this topic of racism, and it's not getting anywhere. And okay, so here's the deal I'm going to make to myself. I'll joke about anything else. I don't give a shit what it can be. Just walking down the street. It can be complete Michael McIntyre. It can be anything else, and I won't judge myself. I won't be like, dude, this is a terrible topic. This is a hack topic. Just to write, as long as it's not racism, and it worked. And that's exactly and I'll take full fucking credit for this. I don't mind. Is exactly the advice I gave to Caleb, and I think it's exactly the thing that's helped him up the next rung of the ladder that he's been doing a bit better recently. Stop talking about race. Talk about anything else than race.
You got talent, kid.
Yeah,
cut out the N-words. Your career will shoot up. Well, yeah, I guess it's easy to fall into that trap, I believe, especially if you're in Estonia and the people are not that sensitive or... Like, I don't mean to say sensitive, like, oh, you're sensitive to racism, like, that's a bad thing, right? But Estonia is like, a lot of people kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah, don't give a shit, yeah. And it's just done, racist, like, it's overdone and all this, and like, you're right. And the more I think about, you know what? Yeah, it's overdone. Fuck. I'm exhausted just thinking about racism topics right now in this conversation, let alone writing jokes and doing them on a stage.
But it's, but if the opportunity is there, like, you can say it. You couldn't say some stuff in England, right? But in Estonia, you get that taste of freedom. And it's like, oh, this crowd is down with it.
Hello, Viljandi. Okay.
Yeah. How you doing? Cheers. How about them Bolt people?
Miss on Bolt.
Yeah, but it's just like if you feel like you're in a rut sometimes, it's good to go back to the basics and go back to the origin of like what are we actually doing, right? Jokes. Yeah. If you have a good joke, you're excited to tell it. You're having fun on stage, then you don't. I think it was Ari who said that, like, as long as you're going to have fun on stage yourself, you won't have this adversarial thing with the audience of, okay, I'm going to try to make you laugh, or why aren't you, or like, what is this? It's go enjoy yourself. And that's, I mean, I wish it was possible to be like that all the time, but...
Yeah, I even at the English open mic at KPK, when Ann Vida shows up, drunk, and drunk Ann Vida shows up, she's like, I need 3 minutes. Yeah. Like, 3 minutes. It's funny. I swear to God, give it to me. And I'm like, Caleb's the host. Go talk to him. And we were talking. She was like, look, it's just jokes about Finnish people and being a tour guide, and is this hack? And I'm like, no, it's fun. Yeah. She was having fun. We were having fun. Audience is having fun. We're all having fun. It's great. This is comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good set.
It's good. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's a good thing. Like, if you motivates you to come to a show, maybe you can do a drop-in set. Absolutely. Like.
Your set at KPK, I loved it, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
I really enjoyed this set. This was because, and then I understand I have a odd or different angled view of all you guys, because I see you like once a month do sets or something. That's if I'm watching and not going backstage or something like that. But there seemed to be, I mean, that was savage, that set.
Thanks, man.
It was I wish I had a little clip or something. I'll talk to Oleg or something if he's got the audio. I don't know. But it's...
Yeah, good old Oleg.
He's like, got those videos, yeah.
He's got the whole archive, probably.
Yeah, if you've seen a weird guy running around at our shows with a camera, it's Oleg. Yeah. He films them and cuts them up, and people can, watch their sets back. Yeah. It's a good public service for comedians. But this seemed to be... I mean, this set, you were just, talking about Estonians and basically criticizing your people. Yeah. And it was just, to me, it seemed like a new level of savage. You went for the throat and you didn't let go. You just kept shaking. You didn't back off and take it easy with the next line. The next bit was even more hard, even more criticisms of your own people.
Yeah, because like, you can't be wishy-washy with that kind of stuff. And that's where the humor... I didn't like have like some serious bit that I wanted to try, because I've kind of used up all my material, And so I thought, like, I'll just throw together some outlandish shit, you know, stuff that, like, yeah, that's kind of insane. So, but like, you repeat it so much that you sort of get to the point where you know, okay, this is so silly, and you're so like into it, you're 100% into what you're saying, and it's so silly that it's so absurd, right? So obviously it's funny. If I were to say it's like you know, these people like in Võru fuck pigs or something like that, people fuck is it with this guy, you know, why is he saying that? But if it's just so over the top, everybody knows. Yeah, it's plus yeah, I mean, I think it's good to, you know, criticize you know, criticize some, I guess, some faults you see within your own country and your own people, like just like in a fun way. And basically I was just, you know, I didn't have any real material, so I just said, yeah, let's just push some buttons, you know.
Okay, yeah.
The easy, like, it's an English open mic also, like, so people like, and most are Estonians.
Yeah,
there,
no, that's the funny thing,
right?
isn't it?
So there's like, what, 5 foreigners and everyone's just sitting there. I'm like, listen to an Estonian speaking English, right? So let's call that out a bit, like, what are you so fancy? And just to, you know, have fun.
Yeah, it was. Have you done that kind of set in that structure in Estonian?
I don't think so. Not quite. I don't know if it would work quite in Estonian. Yeah. But I mean, it's something that I would kind of like to, I guess, move towards, or like, because it's just, I love silly humor, you know. In my mind, like the clips that I would watch over and over again is Eddie Murphy talking about how like foreigners hear his special and they only know the curses. They're like, Eddie Murphy, fuck you. I see you on television, you the fuck you man, right? Or like when he talks about like how he was 15 on stage talking about taking a shit because that's the only thing he knew. And he did it with a Richard Pryor imitation because he loved Richard Pryor. It's like, you ever know sometime when you shit in that water splash up your ass? Don't that make you mad, right? Like, it's so stupid, but it's so fun, you know? And that's why I like these English mics, because oftentimes, I guess it forces you, or at least I look forward to them, because, you know, I try to do the sets a bit differently, because if I just translate an average set and, you know, talk like, well, this is my joke now, and, you know, I will explain this premise now, it's kind of, it's a bit, it's vomit, kind of. It's not, you know, people want the show, right? Sure. So just try to, you know, play up some other aspects instead of the material, and yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, it was the silliness factor you were ramping up as you were being more and more, your criticisms of Estonian people were more and more absurd, and more, but it was like silly, but there was a strong opinion in it as well. Like you know, you can feel you felt this, there was a nugget of truth in these things. And you just kept stabbing away. And I was like, this motherfucker ain't backing down. This is great.
Yeah, I love it. When you could just like, love that style where you could just talk and add on. And it's like, not like even delivering punchlines. It's just kind of talking and rambling and not even sort of caring about the response or like the applause. Like it's kind of like, I like Dave Attell's delivery, where he just, no, he's very punchline based or short jokes, but like he often just goes and does his stuff, and he talks over the applause or whatever. He just keeps going and adding those layers and different punches just on it. He doesn't wait for the audience to sort of catch up or catch a breath. Just adds on, and so yeah, that's. I mean, definitely, it has to have like it has to have like a piece of truth in it, because otherwise, again, it wouldn't be like, I couldn't do that kind of a set about swimming in the pool,
right?
Like, absolutely.
Do we care about it? Yeah. Right. What's the emotional connection we have to it?
So I just thought about like, what are all the simplest things that push buttons that I can just sort of roll into one and just go crazy over.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those English open mics, because it forces you to like you can do accents and whatnot. It's kind of different. I also think that's when I started out, most were doing English, and I also did English because it's another layer removed from who you are in everyday life, right? So you feel a bit more free.
Okay, yeah. Do you feel, did you kind of imply then though that you said you can do accents, but that you don't typically do accents in Estonian?
Yeah.
Because I think it's hilarious. Like, I love watching those YouTube ads that are like some shitty ad, and it's clearly for like some big international company, and all they've done is dub the Estonian over the top. Yeah. But it's like, I think there's like a Mars bar one with like fucking Elton John or something in it, right? Yeah. But it's like a black guy and, you know, some woman from Jamaica or something, and an Asian guy from Hong Kong, and they're all speaking Estonian. And I'm like, is no one talking about this? Like, how did this...
You like know, the Old Spice guy.
Yeah, the Old Spice. They all sound like...
That's unnatural.
Yes. Like they just plow on with these ads like it's totally natural. Yeah. Like the black guy on the horse is speaking like scene from Viljandi. Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be tougher to do like in Estonian because like if we're speaking another language, we already have an accent, and the accent is like it's a boring. Basically, no character having accent, the Estonian accent, because like it doesn't sound. The Estonian language is nice, but when we speak English, it's like the most would be just like talking like this, you know, and talk up, you know, how we pronounce whatever, you know. It's just it has no life, right? So I like to play, right? Maybe play it up just a little bit. It's a different type of aspect of performance that I don't really. If I did it in Estonian, maybe it would just speak really differently. It'd be weird, you know. What is this now? It's weird. It's unauthentic. But we know in the English open mic, okay, we're already at this like we have this filter. We're doing another language. Let's just, you know, and you play up the silliness. And plus, I also recently watched like I watched The Scent of a Woman. With the movie with Al Pacino.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so I like the character there is very loud. He's blind, but he also for some reason just does like ha ha hoo those things, and and that's so like catchy, right?
Yeah.
It's always like I want to do that. Now it's like a tick that, you know, gets stuck with you, and now I just want to like do those weird voices.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Kind of that larger than life personality, like, oh yeah, you know, just do, you know, American or Western style or something like that. Now you got to try to incorporate this into an Estonian without everyone looking at you like you're half a tard. Like, what is this guy?
Yeah, because if you don't really have material to do, then focus on the other aspect, like play up that aspect more.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be like, you know. Sort of the goal. Like, I mean, Chris Rock, let's say, great delivery, but also very deep, you know, deep, meaningful bits. But he learned how to deliver it in that way that it all, you know, it doesn't seem like he's like explaining something to you. He just like
that dude could read the phone book.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'd be laughing at it, right?
Yeah,
he's got that style.
Yeah, he just rolls over the audience with it.
Huh. Yeah, it's a good show. I like that. We haven't got. We're going down next week to Riga. By the time this gets released, actually, we're doing the English open mic. You want to come or something? What do you want to come?
No, I'm not sure right now.
Sure, it's all right. No pressure.
But I assume it's gonna be like it's not a one-time thing.
No, it shouldn't be. We're going down just because, hey, you know, it seems like a good occasion as any to go down to Riga. So we're doing this for the same reasons. The Latvian comedians also wanted to have an English show to practice their English at for exactly the same reasons that you guys wanted to have an English show to do that. And the attending got really big, and we thought, hey, why don't we all just go down and then we'll do. They said they can do 2 shows for us, so we got an early and a late show again. Nice. And we got to get that, and I'm trying to get that like crossing of knowledge going on as well. I'm trying to encourage the Latvians. I think they're going to come here as well for a trip as well. And I know it's a long way, and I know it's a lot of thing, but the Latvians, I think, are even a tougher situation than we are. like how to learn as a group, that we're this group, you're these stand-up comedians in this country across the other side of Europe. How do you learn the art form? How do you develop? And one thing that helped us, I think, was that we, for years, every month, we had 2 international comedians come through. And so we always had the headliner for the Gang Club drink bar show, whatever it used to be back in the day. And then for a while, there was always 2. There was the middler as well, who would do 15 minutes before the half. And then we'd have a headliner later on. You had 2 international comedians stay with us for 2 or 3 days. And so if you're on that show, you're traveling with them, you're talking a lot. Even if you're just hanging out after the show, you can go chat with them, see that. And I never understood it at the time, but now I can kind of see that was an amazing transfer of knowledge, that it was a way that we all learned and we saw, and that's something the Latvians didn't get. So they struggle more because, I mean, we had the show in Riga maybe, but it's a night. It's not several days. We never brought that many shows to Riga. So they're just a bunch of Latvian guys trying to, help each other. And it's tough if you're all just, no external influence. And, then the next thing they have to learn from is Estonia. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. Jeez. This is, we got to learn from the Estonians.
Yeah, that's the pride is stopping that.
So I could see that made a difference for them. So I'm trying to get them on the road a bit more, trying to get a couple of them just even 1s or 2s, just come for the night or something. And it'll be good. We can go down there to do 2 shows. I think Ari and Mikael are going to go. I'll go. Popov will go. Okay, we'll bring some heat, have some fun, have a few drinks, relax. And every little bit seems to... Because, I remember at first with the Latvians, they had reservations about the donation bucket system. Now, no doubt, like you guys might have had as well, but our system at open mics where we ask for a donation at the end. And it's hard to ask for money. It's hard to stand there and say, please, money bucket, please, please, I deserve this. It can be perceived as begging. But we were lucky that we saw our friends in Edinburgh do it. So we were already going to Edinburgh Fringe Festival, seeing how this is done, seeing our friends who are great at this, and they had the formula. They were like, okay, at the start of the show, you got to say this. Then reintroduce the bucket after the second to last comedian before the half. Then, and they just gave us the formula, and we're like, cool, okay, we will do these things. And then with the traveling comedians who would come through, they would reinforce that and be like, bucket, it's a normal thing. And eventually we all got it through our brains. Yeah, it's a normal thing. It's fine. The Latvians never got that education. So they were like, oh, you know what? They're like standing at the back of the room and hiding at the end of the show. And like the bucket was just sitting there on a stool at the door. And like, of course, no one's putting in money. Is this the place to put the money? There's no personal connection.
I mean, and you also got to make it as easy as possible. So you put the barrier up. If people have to take the effort to get on the stage or whatever and put the money in there.
Something like that,
Whilst we are just next to the exit where people are walking past anyway. And it's just, as you're walking past, throw a coin and you got to make it like...
Little things like that you may not know. And even the edge, it's not, I mean, you might say, okay, was I, through my influence as a Westerner, was I able to bring some Western positivity? Even for me...
No, definitely.
I mean, definitely a factor. But even for me, I learned it because I was with Phil Schwartzman, who I've had on this podcast as well. He's now living in America. We were running the Comedy Finland shows. And he's, American. He's, way over the top as an American, right? And he was like, Lewis, we're going to stand at the show and thank everyone as we walk out. I'm like, what? For the host shows that we did in Manala. I'm like, they were ticketed shows, so we weren't asking for the bucket. But he's like, no, it's great for publicity. We're going to stand there and thank people and, make eye contact with them when they walk out and say, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks, And I was like, oh, that ain't bad. So even me, I had this crazy ass American showing me how to do that at the door, which then I could, another transfer to you guys. And I did do one night in Latvia about a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years, I'm not sure. They were having problems with the bucket, and I went, guys, I'm coming down. And it was it was summer, there was an outdoor show. I hosted the show, a Latvian open mic, but I hosted it. And then afterwards, I was like, here's what you do. Stand here, we're going to do this, They've never seen so much money in the bucket before. they were like, what? How is it? What? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
we get it now. So again, you just got to be seen, right? It's not rocket science. It's not like we're introducing the fucking cure for COVID or some secret formula.
And you got to show them the proof. When the bucket is full, it's like, this could be us every open mic, but you're playing.
Yeah, so I'm happy we're going down there. It's a bit of work to get on the bus, and you're a bit worried about being on a bus, but
But it's still an actual foreign audience. Like, so I suppose like doing an English open mic here is still different because most are Estonians. But like when you do it to actual foreigners who don't have any idea about your cultural background and are not looking at you in the way of, oh well, it's our guy. He's trying, he's trying his best.
I wonder about some of my bits. I was looking at my bits going, am I just going to substitute Latvia for Estonia? I was like, how am I going to sell this bit that I've written about Estonia? Do I just turn it around and pretend like I know about Latvians when all I've done is, find and replace in Word?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, I guess that's what definitely going abroad and going to the fringe teaches you. I mean, you think you're hot shit, but you're really not. Performing to actual like strangers or like random people never heard of Estonia. So you're just a guy or just a comedian who's supposed to do something funny. And I've like noticed that.
And that was the bit that threw me off in those first days of the Fringe.
Yeah.
That it was, we're in Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the biggest comedy festival in the world. There's hundreds of shows happening at any given moment throughout the day. Hundreds of shows happening. You've got to stand out. So we take the old Seon stand-up picture, the blue, black, the white, and we call it, what do we call the fucking comedy?
Straight out of Estonia.
Straight out of Estonia. Okay. Outer, really, that's right. Like, we're a Soviet Union ghetto, straight out of Estonia. This is the Estonia show. That's how, if you know anything about geography, the flag colors, we've worked that in Estonia, blah, blah, blah. And they know that. They've had the Romanian show and the whatever fucking other countries, the Norwegians are here and different countries have already done. So it's a known quantity, right? That this is a show with the Estonians. And then they go down to that fucking basement under an Italian restaurant. Yep. Cool. Go down there. Show starts. I friggin' walk out. Hey, mates. How you going? Fucking, it's the Estonian show. Don't you know what the fuck I'm talking about? And they're like, why is Captain Kangaroo talking to us? What? It took me 2 shows to work out the disconnection there.
Yeah, it's a cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
If you want to get real fancy on it.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I got to explain this. They don't know why I'm here. Why is this Australian guy hosting the Estonian show? This doesn't make sense. This is not what we pay. We paid to hear terrible Eastern European accents, and we're hearing fucking Crocodile Dundee over here. What?
Yeah, it must be like a head trip to people. Like, I don't know what the audience expected. Did they like it? Did anybody even know anything about Estonia or like? But it's cool. Like you had old people come in, which is cool that you're an old person and you like give this kind of thing a chance. This wouldn't happen here. Like Estonian pensioners would not go like to the basement of some Italian restaurant to see. Yeah, maybe these guys from this foreign country that we've never heard of. Maybe it'll be fun. But yeah, the people over there, they're like, they've lived in prosperity. So they're happy and,
right. Maybe because
adventurous.
Did we work out as well that we're doing the bucket there as well because that's where we learnt it. So we're able to go to Fringe and we're on our A game with a bucket already because, we're good with this. You fucking Norwegians don't know what it's like to do a bucket. How? We were born into the bucket. Yeah. We know bucket.
Molded by it.
But those old people, they were putting in more money.
Yeah.
At the end. They were generous with their donations at the end.
Well, yeah, they've had their whole life to accumulate wealth and have healthy pensions.
It's just a weird EU distribution fund rather than the Germans giving it directly to the Estonian government. They send German pensioners over to Edinburgh to put it in our bucket.
Through the bucket,
It's the foreign aid plan now relies on this.
It works in mysterious ways. I mean, that's who knows how the EU systems work. We pay some in, but then we get back like...
I never understood that.
Yeah, why don't we just keep it in the first place?
Right, yeah. Why can you just... Don't they have accountants who can balance those books?
Yeah.
Or something?
It's like you have to show the goodwill gesture or something. Like
maybe, yeah. It's weird. Or does like Yuri Ratas need to go to Brussels with a bucket? Like as Angela's working out, he can just stand there. Did you enjoy the show? Okay, thanks for coming to see the Estonian show here in Brussels. Would you like to put maybe a few million into the bucket? Help us out. Thanks. Really help us go between shows and do more events if you could support.
It's like some like Italian wedding or something. Like you bring the couple, you bring an envelope, right? And if it's a suitable amount of money, next time they bring a good amount too. Yeah. It's definitely like definitely a learning experience, going abroad, seeing other comedians come. I mean, just seeing, these working comedians who are that's what they do. They tour, they fly to countries, do these shows, go some place else. Like you see that it's a lifestyle. So which was like, well, didn't really exist.
Isn't that something weird in our bubble that we, as good as our comedy scene is, and we're loving it, we're having a good time and all that, but just due to kind of the nature of Estonia, like, because there are comedians, I mean, they do the clubs. There's a comedy club in that town in Ipswich or some shit. I don't know where it is. And then in the whatever the fucking English town is, and there's a club in every town, and you got a manager or somehow that's booking you in, and you travel from town to town. Yeah. And I don't know, whatever 100 you're getting for 100 or hundreds. I'm not sure for that show. I'm not sure how 100, 200. I have no idea. And that's how you're making your living doing it this way. I mean, that's, real. One of the things I guess we unfortunately can never get is that experience of being the real road warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, just like going from hotel to hotel, I guess, and flying from country to country.
Country to country sounds all right. I mean, the English comedians sound more depressed when they're doing Warwickshire and then to some Cambridge, but some other small town on the outskirts of Cambridge, and that's the club you're booked into. And, and the terrible drunk people in each thing, and maybe the club's not set up correctly, so the sport TV's on in the background, and, you're getting paid, and there's still, 40, 50 people in the audience, so you're doing a show, and that grind is something I just physically can't have. I can take a Lux Express to Voru in 3 hours. Okay, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, and you can be back at home by night most of the time. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I guess that's a different type of development that you have, and I don't know if you get into that sort of like rut or circuit, then does that hinder you in any way? Or
I think I think you've got to be aware of it, because you see those guys who have just been doing that act, because this is the problem. You just fall into the doing the same act over and over again. I mean, that's also very good. So there's some line there between doing it over and over, and then just there you never get out of it, and then you'll be doing that act, touring around, it kills, and you've got no incentive to step out of that. But that's what I guess a big scene like United Kingdom can support that, where we can't support that. Yeah, there's just not enough to have that, the mid-level thing, and that's tough. Even if you're like any sort of Estonian performer, man, like sure, Taukara's out there doing the Laulu Valjak or whatever the fuck. But if you're just, some people might know who you are, you do a decent gig, you're probably doing more in Christmas time or something. It's not a lot of gigs, but if you were at that level in any other country, there would be a large enough amount of people and land for you to travel and actually get a living out of that.
Yeah. And then you would be probably like most of the year you would be like on the road.
I guess on the road. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it is a bit up and down.
Well, I guess, that's like a possibility if you have a strong enough set in English that you can. Well, I mean, Ari's done it, right? He's been on the road.
So I mean, yeah, Ari, he went to so it was Vancouver and based himself there and used that as a base, established himself deep. So the thing, I think though, the thing with Ari to clarify that though is he established himself deep in one scene. He was he's in an apartment in Vancouver. He's working the clubs, building up credibility. Because the real tough thing is just to be like, well, I'm going to go tour some clubs in America. Well, how are you getting booked?
Yeah.
How are you? How does anybody know who you are? So you've got to reestablish your credibility. And so he goes from one, and then he's branching out a little bit to Seattle, going to some other town for a little while, and then kind of going, but they're coming back and using that credibility. And it's something like that needs to happen, I think, if you want to set yourself up. And that it's one of the kind of difficulties of building a European scene. Like I know, Ari would love to tour around Europe, and I would also love to have him on in this. But first of all the different, like the German, there's some shows in Germany, France, a couple in Italy. They're not a tour yet. They're all still like just different levels of development.
Yeah.
So that's hard, and there's no crossover between markets. So you're kind of flying in blind. Like why, Ari might be as good as any other comedian. This is a tough kind of one. But I think you've got to go and build up your credibility somewhere. And with there being draft, like if you're in Vancouver, some people in Seattle are hearing about you. There's some cross-pollination there. There's influential people in Vancouver. They're seeing you. They're knowing you. You're getting out, meeting people. But that thing, if you're doing the comedy club that, I don't know if there's one in Frankfurt, it doesn't really mean anyone in Italy gives a shit about you. And
absolutely.
that's the really tough part about trying to develop this European thing.
Yeah, you have all those different languages and very disjointed.
Because we're hoping, Dana in Comedy Laffer, she feels that the English will be really popular. I mean, already the event next week has a big attending, and so we're thinking that okay, people just want this entertainment. Foreigners, Latvians, they want this, and then she was like, "Hey, can you guys come down and do a bigger show? Because we want to sell some tickets. Maybe we need to make a little money, like we all do. Let's do an English show." And so the idea is sort of we're going to go down. Ari, no doubt, will headline. He's going to kill. Gets a few fans, maybe. Let's say 150 people see him, and then we might go down and back in September and do a ticketed show, and Ari can do his hour. And I think all that's fine, but the thing that I couldn't get out of my mind was I wanted the people to see him first, because it's like, you're trying to sell an Estonian headliner to Latvians? How excited would you be if the Latvian headliner came here?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be like, Tom's, okay, Tom's Ivans from Riga is coming to do our show. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Like, even if he's a killer, right?
Yeah.
There's a marketing thing going on there.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to, it would have to be like an English name.
Yeah, for you to be like,
that.
then maybe, English name. But really, the top comedian in Latvia, does you'd be like, first of all, I'm going to want to hear this guy's English.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to hear, hello, I am Tom from Latvia. Yes, I do comedy. And he could be the best in,
Yeah, that's also the thing. Like, he could be really good back home, but you just lose material when you go abroad, and you're left with, whatever works. It might be hacky shit. Sometimes I've thought I've seen some comedian come here and thought like, okay, well, this is kind of hacky what he's doing. But then again, I think about myself when I go abroad, and I've done even let's say private events in Finland, and I think about myself, of course I'm going to play up the fact that I'm from Estonia, and I'm gonna even I used to sometimes try to speak in this very
turn on the accent,
American accent or something.
American accent. Oh, okay, yeah.
Sort of, I used to do that. Be very very straight edged typical American accent. But now I'm just fuck it. I'll just turn the Estonian one on by several degrees and just do that because it works. Because I've done a private for University of Helsinki some function where everybody was like international crowd, but like master's degree holders or doctorate doctors, whatever, doctors of philosophy, and professors, right? So what do I have in common with these people? Nothing. I'm just some guy, you know, from Tallinn. I don't. They're way smarter than me, but I just went up and I did that stuff, and I again leaned into it, and it, you know, killed that sort of event. So I sort of get it. Yeah, doesn't mean that you're a hack in everyday life, but you just gotta use what you have.
Yeah, I think about that as well. I mean, yeah, I did think about that for a number of years with my set. Like, oh, I'm writing all these Estonian jokes. They're all about living in Estonia. Yeah, because that's my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what surrounded me every day. Like, so I eventually gave up because I was like, yeah, what if I want to be international, you know, or again with that strong criticism, like, oh, is this hack? Oh, I'm just writing. And then, you know, eventually over time, you sort of start to understand the difference between hack, even on any topic, between hacky, shitty stuff and what's a better joke, what's a better observation. And I was like, oh, okay, I can talk about my life. I just don't have to do the same, you know, complete hacky things, right? Or, you know, something about here. Yeah, I've been trying to write. I'm really terrible with my memory. And like you were saying, you write about your experiences and what you did and, you know, things that influence you. I'm terrible. I just have a rat shit memory, like nothing. No, I already had a terrible memory when I was growing up. And then, you know, years of weed smoking have just taken away any possibility I have to remember the past. No, so
I'm kind of like the opposite, or like I just remember random stuff. Like I can remember like scenes from a TV show from when I was a kid, or like some humor show in Estonia. So, or like something that somebody said in a conversation like 3 years ago. That was funny. Like I remember what Mikael said in some conversation that was like a really good joke, and
that is a useful skill as a comedian to have. Yes.
Yeah, that is kind of, because you gotta like soak in what's going on around you, and
I've been trying to, like, the bit that I did at Kapika, and I'm gonna try and work on. It's like, it's not just like, because the bits are just like, oh, here's my observation of Estonia. Now I'm going to, oh, I remember Estonia 15 years ago. Like, I've been here long enough that I can do that now. Like, I'll take you on the nostalgia trip. And that really involves going back through the memory and thinking of the different experiences that I had, and then trying to make the set out of it. Thankfully, people liked it. I'll keep on going. I'm not sure I'll get up tonight, but trying to mine that. So it's like, that's my premise right now.
Yeah.
And then trying to, because I had all those bits and like they were kind of disjointed little stories and I never quite knew how to throw them in. And now I'm like, oh, just, this is the nostalgia set. I'm going to, you know, I remember what it was like before.
And it's a deeply personal experience.
And maybe, and I don't think it came consciously. Yeah, it is a personal experience, and it didn't come consciously, but in a way, it is a way to make my Estonian stories unique, which is good. Like, it's good. You know, now I got Caleb. He's doing the same, you know, he's got the same observations as me as a foreigner. So of course there's, you know, similar crossovers there, right? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So what can I do? Oh, I can talk about how it used to be 15 years ago. That's my kind of angle on all of this. And then I realized, okay, I was enjoying that bit much more than, you know, just how things are today.
Yeah, because if you kind of have like a view from like kind of the outside, right? You maybe notice things that people who've been here their entire life wouldn't notice, or, you know, I mean, people probably love hearing about, you know, all these types of experiences.
Well, I'm hoping to play on both. Both of them, they like hearing about themselves, but then we're kicking into nostalgia a little bit as well there. Like, you know, because the things have changed so much. Yeah, that bit about, like, I miss the old foreigners. Like, I miss the old dirty foreigner that was here clearly to pick up women. Like, you don't really see it that much anymore. It's some young guy who's studying, or I'm making a startup or whatever. I'm a TTU and I'm enrolled in this program, and they're all nice people, and, you know, they're here on Erasmus, and that's nice. Like, but it used to be dirty foreigners. Like, I'm going to meet chicks in the club.
Yeah, what happened to the stag parties, right?
Yeah, you haven't seen a stag party for ages.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of, Eastern Europe was kind of this like fairy tale land, I suppose. You know, you can be some maybe even have like a family back home in like Bristol or wherever you're living, but you can come here and I don't know,
Go for the
Drink.
night out,
Yeah.
Put some outfit on. We're going to Nimeta Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, Nimeta Gov. Yeah, that's where the foreigners go. And we never got it as bad as Riga got it. Which they say it's because Ryanair flew to Riga earlier.
Yeah, so there's an upside to having shitty connections with the rest of the world. We don't have our Independence Monument pissed on by the British drunks.
Yeah. We did. Yeah, I haven't seen a stag party in age. Maybe I haven't been out. Maybe that's it. But like there's groups, but it's like, because you could tell the stag parties, there's like one guy dressed in full latex or something, like he's had a rubber glove pulled over his head and his whole body, or there's outfits or something like that. Yeah, not so much.
Maybe they like move to, I don't know, Ukraine or...
Yeah, here Belarus is a great place to go right now. Maybe try Belarus. It's a real party there.
Popping right now.
Yeah, maybe it got more expensive, even for the Finns. Yeah. Those motherfuckers will take a bus another that like 3 hours just to go down to the Latvian border just to save. Like, really? Your 7 hours of travel time isn't worth anything to you?
Yeah. I mean, the type of Finn that like the golden age of the Finn has passed probably. Like the type of people that came in the 90s or whatnot were, I guess, the more high class, more wealthier ones, but now the ones that come to, Pärnu are, from some bumfuck, whatever, northern Finland village, So it's not the cream of the crop. Like
that's saying something as well.
Yeah,
with that
the trendy people, I mean, they can, fly to, I don't know, wherever, you go to Bali or something. if Pärnu is like your high point, then, obviously.
It's Finland's Bali. Oh my God.
Yeah. There was this article about Pärnu, like the Florida of Estonia, because Finnish old people own a lot of the real estate and whatnot.
Okay.
So kind of maybe.
I guess.
Not as much cocaine, but
I was thinking that.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know either. Yeah. What's there's the
no
Scarface of Pärnu. Okay, he's up there and fucking tired of his part of this. Say hello to my stinky little friend.
Visit Pärnu.
That's right, yeah. Where you should hire us, Pärnu Tourist Board. We got it all.
We can write you some good slogans, write some clips, act in them.
We got everything. Yeah. All right, man. Well, we just had a little chat. It was nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you going to do? We got Uxquake later on, so you going down to Uxquake, are you?
Oh, yeah. Shit. We got how much time do we got?
Quite a bit. It's only 5 o'clock.
Cool. Maybe I'll go by the house.
Nice.
I gotta think about my set too.
Okay.
Because it's not quite as fleshed out as it could be.
Okay.
It's like I have ideas, but I find that I can't really, like, I have these ideas, but if I just go up if I've had no thought about them or I haven't processed them through, then I'll forget some stuff and it's going to be like disjointed and I have to figure out the order and stuff like that.
So are you trying to say then you're not really a right on stage kind of guy?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I get some tags and stuff like that, and that's maybe something that will start to happen more and more. And I mean, it has happened more and more. But right now, still, I'm not at the point where I just go up with like a little like grain of an idea and see what happens.
Were you hosting some of the summer tour shows?
Yeah, hosted a couple.
Okay. I want to see you host more, man. I like when you host.
Really?
Yeah, I think you do. I think it's good for you. I think it's a good thing to do, and especially when you get it into the audience. And I know you just told me you're not a right on stage kind of guy, but I think there's great, when you hit that line with the audience, it's great.
Well, it's definitely beneficial, yeah. Definitely you gotta play at a different, like, I don't know, vibe, or like definitely, as I said, it's good to do them. It's good to do them, but yeah, like But I feel like, yeah, I can do it. I've gotten better at it. But like, I feel, I'm not the host guy really. Like, 'cause in my mind, the host guy is like Kristjan Jõekalda or some guy like that, who's like, oh, hey, so let's have fun.
But maybe you've just got to like redefine that. I know what you mean to get over. Like, should there be a certain energy? Should there be something? I like Caleb's hosting the other night. It was fine. It just went at the audience, like
absolutely.
you just went at them, and it created a nice kind of feeling, right? Didn't need the punchlines. Just connected with them, and was nice to them, and it went all right.
Yeah, do some crowd work. Just just be present, be in, be funny, be in the room. And like I've had sets that I enjoy. I've had sets that like host sets that were like tough. Definitely I'm glad I did them afterwards. But yeah, I feel like some people are definitely more like in the host nature.
Sure.
But there are some people that you like, I don't know, if you're like Kai Humphries or someone, you just come on stage and you're like, hello, and everybody instantly loves you, Nobody can hate you, so you're already playing at that level where it's like easier for you. But whilst most comedians, they have to sort of go up and then try to, earn that, not respect, but... Gotta respect me. No,
but just there's something like you, whether they're in, whether they feel fun. Like, goodwill. That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, bro. Let's wrap it up. Thank you and good luck tonight. I'm not sure whether I'll come along or see you around. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you loved the good chat from two comedians talking about comedy. See you next time. Thank you.